When it comes to kitchens, there are a few key principles that interior designers and architects use in every design. To me, they can be put into 3 stages of design that I always go through. And from start to finish, they are number 1, the layout, number 2, the materials, and number 3, the details. I'll go through each of these and list the principles of kitchen interior design. After this, we'll see one real example kitchen design project in a rental apartment. Kitchens can be the most difficult room in a home to design well, but following these 3 principles can help design a kitchen that is both functional and beautiful. First thing for the layout is the floor plan. There's one rule above all others you should follow when planning a kitchen. It's called the work triangle. Almost all the functions in a kitchen make use of 3 key items: the refrigerator, the sink, the cooker. The kitchen work triangle is the relationship of these 3 items. In a good kitchen layout, these 3 elements are close, but not too close to one another, so the occupant can walk between them quickly, and as a result, the kitchen will be easy and efficient to use, cutting down on wasted steps. Therefore, when we look at the kitchen layout in a plan, thinking where the refrigerator, the sink, and the cooker go is step 1. These are the 3 most functional and most used elements in a kitchen. Many tasks that you do will involve 2 or all 3 of them. There are 4 typical layouts in plans for kitchens. Each one works well or less well depending on the space of the home or the room in plan. Type 1, the straight kitchen. This is the simplest kitchen layout. Everything is along one wall, all the cabinets, the appliances, and the sink. With this layout, be sure to have countertop space both sides of the sink and the cooking area, and place the food storage at one end of the cabinets, for example the pantry or the refrigerator. In a larger space, an island can also complement the straight kitchen layout. Type 2, the galley kitchen. This is like doubling up a straight run kitchen from type 1. It works well in a space with 2 walls where cabinets can go. Putting the refrigerator on one side and the cooker on the other works well in a galley kitchen, but make sure your room is wide enough, especially if the kitchen will be a thoroughfare to other spaces. Type 3, the L-shaped kitchen. L-shaped kitchens have cabinets along 2 walls directly next to each other. They can be a good option for an open plan space. An island again works well in L-shaped kitchens if there is enough space. The L shape generally feels more open than the galley kitchen, so it can be good for kitchens which will be used for entertaining or dining. Type 4, the U-shaped kitchen. U-shaped kitchens have cabinets on 3 walls, and they can be a good way to get a high number of units in a small space. You can also add an island into a U-shaped kitchen, but some people may find this claustrophobic if the room is too small. And there are variations on these 4 plan layouts for kitchens, but most kitchens can be considered one of these types. You can start to think about the kitchen you're designing in plan and which of these shapes would work well. Once you decide this, the kitchen's overall design is on a solid footing. After the overall layout shape, you can move from the floor plan to the elevations. Sometimes elevations can make you reconsider parts of the layout that a plan doesn't show. An example is a long run of countertop in plan can look useful with lots of space, but then in elevation the design could look repetitive, and you could consider adding open shelves or a bigger stove to break up the repetitive layout. If you're trying to lay out your kitchen in plan and elevation, you may want to use a SketchUp model. See this video here for the quickest way to model a kitchen from a floor plan, and also this video for a really useful SketchUp plugin for designing cabinets. And importantly, here are some key dimensions to use when planning the layout. Countertop heights are generally 36 inches or 900 mm. This works well for most adults in most countries. In a kitchen that's going to have a lot of baking, you may want to have part of the countertop lower, around 32 inches. A countertop depth is almost always 24 inches or 600 mm. It's almost always the standard for both off-the-shelf and bespoke kitchen designs. The cabinet widths, most usually 24 inches or 600 mm, but they do come in narrower and wider widths. And if you're doing wall cabinets above, make sure they're high enough that nobody's going to hit their head when they're using the countertops, but low enough that the items inside can be reached without stretching. And finally, for a cleaner look, always try to align the width of the wall cabinets to the lower cabinets. Now you can think about the kitchen layout in both plan and elevation. Let's look at principle number 2. Kitchens, like other spaces, usually have many different materials or finishes. Designing a finishes scheme with many materials can add texture and energy to a kitchen's design. For example, combining wood, stone, metal, plaster, paints, glass, textiles, and leathers. In my view, there's 4 key elements that every kitchen has and are its main finishes: the cabinets, the countertops, the walls, and the floors. Each of these can have many finishes to choose from. Let's look at the cabinets firstly. Veneers are thin slices of wood cut from natural wood logs that are applied onto boards such as plywood or MDF. On this veneer sample, you can see that the thin sheet is fixed to a thicker board below. Veneer is usually lower cost than solid wood cabinets. And veneers can also be treated in many different ways, so are available in almost every colour and from many different suppliers in different finishes. However, veneers can be more delicate than real solid wood cabinets. They can be chipped due to the thinness of the actual finish. And in rooms with a lot of sunlight, the veneer can discolour over the years, fading to a greyish green colour, which can look awful. TriBeCa of Italy is a big name in veneers for interior design projects. They have hundreds of veneer finishes in many patterns and colours. Solid wood is a natural finish that can add warmth and texture to a kitchen's design. It can also be a sustainable finish option when sourced from responsible suppliers. However, you will be paying more than veneers or other finishes. Cabinet doors that are made from solid wood will also feel heavier than veneer doors. This can be a disadvantage in some cases, but some clients will like the heavier, weightier feel, as it can feel higher quality than veneers. After the cabinets finishes, let's look at countertops. Natural stones such as marble, granite, and onyx are timeless finishes. Using marble in a finisher scheme can add luxury and elegance to a design. Natural stone is typically expensive. There can be a huge variation in price per square foot, with the more rare or exquisite slabs of stone reaching into hundreds of dollars per square foot. Something like a Calacatta marble with good veining and little imperfection can be 5 to 10 times the cost of a lower quality Carrara with more imperfections in the slab. You might be able to source and install granite for around $60 per square foot, but it's unlikely to be as beautiful as a Carrara or Calacatta marble countertop that could cost $200 per square foot. And because they are natural materials, every stone slab is different in appearance. The best marble and granite suppliers will be able to show you exactly what a slab looks like before you order, but prefabricated countertops can be hit and miss. Low-cost stone suppliers may also sell less attractive slabs that were passed on by the high-end vendors. In short, you need a vendor you can trust when it comes to natural stone finishes. Granite is heat resistant, very strong, and scratch resistant. It retains its value in a home kitchen. There's a huge variety of granites with different colours and veining, and it's low maintenance if finished with a sealer. But the higher end granites that look better will cost you. Marbles are heat resistant and water resistant. They retain their value in a home kitchen. They're prestigious and luxurious by association, but they will cost you more than other natural stones, and they also need to be resealed on a regular basis. Marbles can also be corroded by acids that you may find in some foods, such as fruits and soft drink. Not ideal if you're going to have a busy kitchen countertop. Corian is one of the most well-known brands of solid surfaces, finishes made from resins, acrylics, and minerals. They can be lower cost and sometimes more durable than natural stone, such as marble. Corian's countertops can be made in any of the colors or finishes in the company's range, which is about 100 different finishes. Corian is easy to clean and maintain. The seams are near invisible, so you can do large stretches of countertop. It's lower cost than quartz or natural stone. However, it's not resistant to denting and scratches, but it can be repaired. Generally, it's not heat resistant like natural stone or quartz, and it's less prestigious than a natural stone such as marble. There's also quartz. One quartz brand is Caesar stone. There's also Salstone and Avanza. Quartz is similar to solid surfaces in that it's an engineered finish. It's lower maintenance and it doesn't need a sealer. There's very little variation in slabs because it's an artificial finish. It's heat resistant, stain resistant, and corrosion resistant. So it's really good for kitchens that are going to have a lot of use. It looks more natural than solid surface countertops. However, it is more expensive than solid surface, but generally lower cost than higher end stones. There's also many other finishes possible for kitchen countertops and backsplashes. They could be stainless steel, solid wood, soapstone, laminate, or concrete. Each comes with its own benefits and drawbacks. After finishes, let's look at the third principle, details. Of all the rooms in a home, kitchens have the most storage requirements. Kitchen storage needs to be flexible, but also large in amount. There's 4 types of kitchen storage: tools and utensils, perishable food, pantry food, and trash. Make sure the kitchen design has allowance for each of these 4. Tools and utensils, at the very least, there should be lower cabinets with cupboards and drawers, and wall cabinets to fit in essentials. Tools and utensils can include pans, trays, crockery, cutlery and utensils, glassware, cleaning tools and supplies, and even a vacuum cleaner. A rule of thumb for perishable food storage is how large the home is. For example, a 1-bedroom apartment will need to store much less food than a 4-bedroom family home. A pantry is for dry and non-perishable food. It can sometimes be a single cupboard, or it could be a large walk-in space connected to the kitchen. Sometimes pantries can be used for storing odd items, which can lead to clutter or disorganization. Adding organizers, such as drawers and adjustable shelving, can help. Trash also needs a place to be stored. This can be a basic freestanding bin, or it could be an integrated drawer under the sink. A client may also want multiple bins for recycling and food waste. You can understand exactly how much kitchen storage you should accommodate with some questions, such as how much will the kitchen be used for cooking, but also for entertaining, working, dining, etc. Whether it's an eating kitchen or it's only for preparation with a separate dining room. What other functions will need storage and how much? For example, if they're going to be doing laundry in the kitchen, that needs storage. Kitchens are usually full of appliances, more than any other room in a home. And usually the higher end you go in a kitchen, the bigger and more space appliances will take up. For example, think about refrigerators. A low-end kitchen design may have a small under-counter fridge, whereas a high-end kitchen in a luxury home may have a huge double-door, full-height Sub-Zero fridge. The first thing with planning appliances is make a wish list. Does the client want every appliance possible, or are they happy with just the essentials? That could be a refrigerator with a freezer, a small oven, and just a cooktop. If the client will use the kitchen for serious cooking, they'll likely have appliances like steam ovens, warming drawers, double dishwashers, induction cooktops, and a large refrigerator. Some clients will even request various cuisine appliances, such as a cooktop specifically for teriyaki, and a grand stove such as ones from La Cornue or Aga could also be on the wish list. Appliances like the refrigerator and freezer can be freestanding, or they can be integrated into the cabinetry. Integrated is a more high-end look. The size and capacity will depend on the client. Do they eat out often or cook every meal? Kitchens need ventilation to move fresh air in and bad air out. The bad air can be humidity, cooking smells, or even stale air. A vent hood should be directly above the main cooker and near to an exterior wall or ceiling that can run a vent to the outside, although some kitchens may not have that possibility, so they'll use a recirculating vent that passes the air through a filter. Like refrigerators, sinks are available in many sizes. Some clients may want 2 sinks, one for washing, one for preparing food. Sinks can also come in several finishes, including stainless steel, which can be a higher end look. With sinks, it's important to think about locations of plumbing and drainage. If you plan to put the sink on an island, the underfloor drainage can require planning and plumbing works. It's never as easy as you think it's going to be. Task lighting is used to light specific activities rather than the entire kitchen. In a kitchen's lighting scheme, there should be illumination over the sink, the countertops where food will be prepared, and over an island if there is one. Task lighting can be done with basic adjustable downlights, but you can also use decorative pendants if they provide enough light to the task area. Linear LEDs on the underside of wall cabinets can also be a really good look for task lighting countertops. The LED strips are very thin, so they can be easily added in a kitchen design. Decorative lighting can also be a big part of a kitchen's lighting scheme. Pendants or chandeliers can also be used. If you're having a dining table in the kitchen, a low hanging pendant centered above works well and makes dinners feel more intimate. So these are the main details that should be considered when designing a kitchen. Let's look at a real example project. So So this was a rental building in TriBeCa, New York City. The old apartments were generally in need of updating, and the kitchens didn't have a lot of countertop space to work with. And the finishes generally felt dark, not very welcoming, and a bit too dated. We began with opening up and extending the size of the kitchen space in open plan. Then we looked at which layouts could work. An L-shaped seemed the best shape kitchen for the open plan space, and also adding an island to create versatility because it's a rental unit. Different tenants could use this kitchen for different activities, so it's important to have some flexibility. An island really helps with that, with cooking, dining, quick and formal meals, getting some work done or entertaining. And then for finishes, as the project was for a rental, the finisher scheme had to be appealing to a wide range. The scheme could also not become too dated looking too quickly, so it needed to be a bit more timeless, but also enhance the apartments. And of course, the finishes had to be durable. They'd stand up to wear and tear over the years. So what we did was retain the existing wood flooring, refinish them in a warmer tone and stain them. The warmer wood then informed the kitchen countertops and cabinets. So the kitchen cabinets, the millwork is in a warm grey veneer that you see here. Then the countertops, we used a Caesar stone, not just for its looks, but its durability again. And we chose a darker grey finish, which could also hide any future imperfections. The walls also received some white subway tiles, which also act as the backsplash, which is cheaper than using a natural stone or more of the Caesar stone. But it also adds and reinforces the look that we were going for. And then for the details, we kept it quite simple. So the kitchen cabinets have a simple panel design that's not too contemporary, neither too traditional. And then we went full height on one side of the L-shaped kitchen, which means that tenants would have a huge amount of storage space. Storage can be a big selling point, and in rentals it can be really hard to find, especially in New York City. And then these were some shots of the first unit that we remodeled, followed by a few of the other rooms. As you'll probably realize, kitchens can be the most difficult space in a home to design due to the sheer number of requirements, both functional and decorative. But hopefully by following these 3 principles step by step, you can begin to understand what makes a good, functional kitchen successful and how best to go about designing a kitchen for a project, beginning with the layout, followed by the finishes, and finally with the details. If you found this useful, please do give a like to this video, leave a comment with any questions, and do subscribe. Thanks for watching and see you next time.